Here with the Sea Cadets at the Fort Worth Aviation Museum. What a great place to come, bring your family. You're going to see some great warbirds and meet some great veterans over here. But right now, I've got a special deal going. I've got my Sea Cadet, Pierre. Thank you for being on board with it. You're getting a chance to look and fly a simulator. What do you think of that?
Pretty cool. It's very cool. I've always seen them through like games and stuff, but I've never actually been able to kind of sit in them. I think one time I did go to a flight simulator on the base here, and we did get to kind of fly them, and that was when I didn't really know much or anything, so I think I ended up crashing.
So, Pierre, do you think now you want to be a naval aviator? Because you keep telling me that's what you want to do.
Well, I've always wanted to be a naval aviator, so.
I think you'd make a great one.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's watch Pierre for a second as he's doing this. This is a trip. This is a trainer, the cockpit out of a T-38 trainer, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and this is available here at the Fort Worth Aviation Museum. We're here with the Sea Cadets. Erwin, I got to tell you, you're 13 years old, and you are in the Sea Cadets having the time of your life.
Yes, I love it. I love Sea Cadets.
Isn't that great? Now, you're getting to sit in the cockpit of a T-38 simulator. What do you think of this?
It's very overwhelming. There's a lot of buttons.
Well, you're only 13. You don't drive yet. Wait till you get to drive and see, then maybe someday you can drive one of these things. What would you do with that?
Well, I would really prefer to be jumping out of them rather than flying them, but to fly them would still be pretty cool.
Let me tell you, anybody who wants to jump out of a perfectly good airplane needs to have their head examined. Been there, done that. Been through the jump training. And fortunately, this simulator sits on the ground, but it's interesting. You can see what it's like in a cockpit. And yes, it's very complicated.
Yes. I have a feeling I would mess this up terribly.
Well, not with the training you'd get. I mean, trust me, they don't let you get into something like this that's for real without a whole lot of training.
Yeah. Ooh, I'd still mess it up.
And Buster, this is Buster. He's one of the people here. Tell us a little bit about this simulator.
Okay.
About this museum.
All right. This the simulator is an early model T-38 simulator, and they're still flying the T-38s today, but they're different in they have an all-glass cockpit that's completely different. This was used if you're a new pilot. You come with your checklist and get in this thing and get familiar where all the gauges are and all the switches before you went out to the airplane to fly it. And it helped you be familiar with what you're going to do when you got out there. And, of course, you'd have an instructor showing you also. And it's excuse me. It's a fun airplane to fly. Everybody I know has flown one. I don't know if he.
I didn't fly a T-38. I flew a T-84, but this was a supersonic.
That's right.
Trainer.
For instance, it's a twin engine. These throttles are here, and to put it in, it goes after you put that way, and to take off and climb. And like I tell people, then you watch the fuel gauge start unlining because the afterburner inhales fuel, and then you come out of the afterburner and continue on with your flight. Now, put your hand on the stick there. And then this hand here on the throttles. Yeah, there you go. And your feet down there on the rudder pedals. Now, if you're on the ground, the top of that pedal is your brakes. And if you're flying, the lower part, you put your feet down, that's for your rudder. And then your stick here, you've got the trigger there is your nose wheel steering on the ground, right in front. And then the red buttons are communication switches, either for air to air or air to ground or for your instructor, all right? The center of the console right here are your main flight instruments, and these are your secondary instruments to these. Over there is all your engine instruments. It's twin engines, so you got one for each engine. And then in the middle here, you got your communications. And over there, we have your oxygen and your IFF equipment. And, of course, what you would like, the handles here is your ejection handle, which fires you out. Yeah. And
you only do it once.
That's right. But I agree with him. I've never seen any reason to leave a perfectly good airplane.
I had to go through jump training to fly the T-84.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. They offered me a chance to jump out of a 130,
Yeah.
and I told them they weren't big enough, mean enough, or bad enough to get me thrown out of a perfectly good plane.
Well, and I agree with it. In the early days when I was at Tactical Air Command, I dropped a lot of paratroopers and Special Forces guys. I'd stand in the door and I said, I don't see any reason to leave this thing.
Well, Buster, thank you.
Well, my pleasure.
Buster, thank you very much. Erwin, hope you're enjoying this. Let's go see some of the other aircraft. I bet you if you played with this long enough, you'd be hooked on it, right?
Probably, yes.
We're here at the Fort Worth Aviation Museum, and we're here with the Sea Cadets, but I also wanted to show you another great group of young men and women, the Young Marines, and they're being taught by a veteran about the aviation, the aircraft that were used in Vietnam. This is a great place to come, the Fort Worth Aviation Museum, and these are two really great organizations that work together, the Young Marines and the Sea Cadets, both part of the Department of Defense. I think this is something that every young man and woman would really get a great opportunity to learn and grow and be a part of something far bigger than they are. Hey, this is Jim again with the Sea Cadets, my favorite group of young people. I got to tell you, we're here, and I wanted to show these people, these young people, these two planes. My squadron that I went to Vietnam with flew planes just like this off the USS Oriskany. This is an A4 Skyhawk. It's an A4 Charlie. Basically, it carried about 6 500-pound bombs, and you see these are big fuel tanks. This plane weighed 25,000 pounds, and it could carry 25,000 pounds of ordnance and fuel. We had to have really small pilots, though, because that would screw up the weight and balance. These planes were subsonic. That means that they didn't go supersonic. And let me tell you something, though. This was considered the hot rod of the naval aviation fleet. This thing flew just about as well right side up as it did upside down. And I had the chance to fly in the TA-4 version. So this plane came off of the Shangri-La, the USS Shangri-La. That was an Essex-class carrier that was built at the end of World War II. And if we look over here, that plane was phased out in the late 1960s. My squadron was disbanded in 1969, and they went to these planes, which was the A-7 Corsair. This was a much more effective. This plane was built by Chance Vaught here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is a tremendous plane. It replaced the A-4, and this plane was a real workhorse of the Navy. Any guys got any questions? Because we'll have the leader come over here so the kids can ask questions. Eddie, these two planes were Navy workhorses of Vietnam, along with the F-4 Phantom. And I don't see one of those. It's around here. Is it right over there? Okay. Do you have any questions, guys, from your leader? Yeah, Kumar.
How many pounds can that plane carry?
I don't know. The A-7 takes about 30,000 pounds, doesn't it?
Pretty close to that. It can carry the Mark 82 bombs. It can carry probably 20 of those.
Well, one of the things is these planes carried more bomb load than a B-17 did in World War II. And it was a tremendous plane, a tremendously easy plane to maintain. Any other questions you got? Kumbam? You enjoying this?
I am very much, sir.
What have you learned?
I learned a lot about the Vietnam War. I learned about the planes used in it, and I learned about like an OV-10, I think it was called, and it was like and there was this acronym called FAC. It was like Fire Air Control or something.
Forward Air Control.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and let me tell you, those guys got shot up a lot. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Erwin, you enjoying?
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing so far, other than I stuck you in a simulator?
Probably the learning about the helicopters, sir.
Oh, cool. How about you? You got any questions?
You mispronounced my name wrong.
Oh, okay. say it for me because I can't. I'm not good at that one.
When?
Win. You enjoying this, Win?
Yes, sir.
Cool.